Greetings, programs. This is Wretch, and welcome back to Shadowrun Hong Kong. We took care of Gobbet's mission, and the sinking ship has been saved, as ironic and odd as that sounds. But now we're going to go ahead and spend some karma. We got a call from Auntie Cheng that they found the plastic-faced man, but we still have a lot to do here in Hoi before we start wanting to get into that storyline. So first off, it looks like we can level up our guys, and we're getting pretty close to level 6 on them, which is interesting. So, gain spell Plague Bearer. Gains a conjuring spell which sets 4 heavy cover barriers that last 3 rounds. Anyone that enters takes minus 14 HP and minus 1 AP damage. Devil Rat Spirit Fetish. Gobbet now carries a Devil Rat Spirit Fetish in her standard equipment. That actually makes sense considering what we just saw on the sinking ship. Maybe it's something she took with her after taking care of the Rat King, so we will take that one. We'll confirm. Now, Ractor. Augment weapon melee systems, augment weapon firearm systems. Alright, well, he's all ranged, so we'll give him the firearm systems. Gaichu. Gaichu exudes a cloud of disease spores, damaging nearby enemies. Ongoing 3 HP. Metal. Augment stance metal cover bonus. Gaichu's metal stance now provides a light cover bonus, preventing critical hits in the open. Go ahead and take that. Duncan. Gain weapon shock baton. A melee shock baton. It does 4 HP and 2 AP damage per hit, but it must be recharged every 2 hits. Full auto fire no longer has a minus 10 penalty to accuracy when used. Bam. ISO. We've got Jolt Alert System. If the user is brought into a stunned state, they'll be jolted awake with 1 AP. Flash bulbs hidden in a cyber eye. I had that as my decker in Dragonfall. Capable of temporary blinding opponent. AP cost 2, duration 2. Let's do the Jolt Alert System, because if I have to jack out of the Matrix suddenly, there we go. I'll be able to recover better. So that looks good. We have selected all the things. Alright, we are confirmed. Now let's go ahead and take care of me. Now here's what I'm going to do, guys. I have decided, because I've been thinking, I was like, why can't I hit anything? Or, do the damage that I'm wanting to do as a physical adept. And I think the reason why is because I haven't taken unarmed, which increases the chance of scoring a critical hit when using punches and kicks. Now, that's kind of obvious, but I've seen a lot of physical adept builds that never touch unarmed. It's all the willpower abilities. But to tell you the truth, I'm not exactly sure if I want to keep on going with that. But for right now, we've got 8, and that can give us 3 unarmed, and then we can pump up. We'll learn Roundhouse Kick, where you can strike multiple targets in range, rip armor. I think we can get some pretty decent stuff, I think, all things considered. What do you guys think? Right now, I won't take it. I will go ahead and revert. Since we're not doing any combat right now, there's no need for me to spend my karma. But if you guys have any input on if I should put the stuff in unarmed or just continue the path that I've been going, let me know in the comments below. It would definitely be appreciated. Okay, well then. Oh. That was odd. Well, Frederick is still there. So that's something. Let's go ahead and hit Club 88 first and see what exactly is going on here. The young troll bouncer is as far from alert as he's likely ever been. Men and women pass through the front door without earning even a glance from Freddy. He just taps away on the screen of a tablet, oblivious to the world. You taking a break, Freddy? Uh-huh. Well, snap out of it. He finally looks up. Oh, it's you. Sorry about that. Just making some final arrangements. My father thinks I'm not ready for the big time. He thinks I'm not strong enough or resourceful enough or whatever, but I'm proving him wrong already. See, I got it all figured out. The Hell Thunder crew has been spotted to the south mostly, out among the islands there. The Star Ferry service operates all through that region, so I just need to head down to Stanley and start hopping ferries until I hear the drums. They played the drums, did you know that? That's why I've been practicing. I've got a plus-size capsule reserved at the Dynasty Mansions in Stanley, and I got enough cash to cover that and the ferry rides for about 2 months. And get this, Stanley is also known as Chek Chu, which means Bandits Post. Why? Because of pirates. It's a sign, I'm telling you. I've also got a lead on someone with the Tolo Vori down there who may be able to help. He's got connections inside Yamasetsu, and they pretty much run the marine department these days. They'll monitor the ships coming and going, so if pirates hit, they'll know. And once they know, my guy will make sure I know. It's all coming together. I'll show my ba what I'm made of. I'm leaving as soon as I get my loose ends tied up. I'm not so sure about this, Freddy. What's not to be sure of? But I've got it all figured out. I can find these guys. I know it. But what if they don't want to be found? But they're trolls like me. And they're pirates like my ba. Are you saying they might not take me? Or worse? Dreck. Now you got me all confused. Suppose I don't have to leave immediately. One more day to stew on it won't matter much. Just sleep on it, Freddy. Interesting. Now, who's in here? No new runners to talk to, but Callum's still here, which I'm surprised about. Calum is in a rare state, steeped neither in melancholy nor in alcohol-fueled oblivion. His excitement can barely be held back by the corners of his mouth, and this comes in stark contrast to the dread hanging over Hoy. This is it, Shan. It's actually happening. What's happening? My chance. My stepping on up. It's official. My ship has finally come in. My mother won't approve, my father won't care, and my brother won't understand, but this opportunity is too great to pass up. Certainly you see that. Seems almost too good to be true. You don't know the half of it. Mr. Tai confessed to something else. They performed a genetic test after our dinner. He says I'm his son. Oh crap, so he told him. It all makes sense now. I've never fit in here. I'm nothing like my father or my brother. Don't you see? My mother had an affair with Mr. Tai. All her attempts to keep me down were really just efforts to save face. She couldn't let anyone know her shame. That Henry isn't my father. But it doesn't matter now. My real father's found me, and he's going to give me the life I always deserved. For starters, he's invited me on a Baihu corporate retreat for execs and their families. He wants me to meet his wife and his 2 daughters. Imagine that! I got 2 little half-sisters. I can't wait to leave all this behind. I don't know about this. What's not to know? Matt is the only one who's been honest with me. My mother's been lying to me my entire life. I don't owe her anything. I paid for her lies long enough. It's time I got something for myself, right? Are you trying to convince me or yourself? I just don't know. But maybe you're right. I need to think about this. Well, there's a lot at stake here. That world isn't always as it seems. Think about it for a while. I don't know anything about Matthew Tai, so I'm not going to pass judgment on him. Calum nods thoughtfully. Thanks, Shan. I will. Now, let's see what Henry has to say about this. Henry stands unmoving at the back of the club, staring blankly at a wall. Had the wall been built with a window, the view afforded would lead straight out to sea. But as it is, the old troll stares at nothing. I've come to a decision. I felt like you were wrestling with something. I have, and here it is. I can't do it any longer. I can't keep on going this way. I'm just so tired. And not just because of the dreams disturbing my sleep at night. I was wary of this world long before that. If anything, the dreams simply served to underscore the truth. I don't belong here. I've known it for a long time, I just couldn't admit it to myself. I tried my best for the sake of Ermine and the boys, but I'm more a burden to them than a help. Better for me to be out of their hair. This just isn't my world anymore. Likely it never was. But maybe there's still a world out there for me. Somewhere on the water. Maybe the only world for me is back in the past. All I know is that it's not here. When my number is up, whether it's tomorrow or years from now, I'll just slip into the water. Less of a burden in death than I was in life. Simple and neat. The tide's going out. It's time I went with it. Nobody ever found peace by running, Henry. I'm not running away. I'm running to. If there's a better life for me out there, can you really begrudge me trying to find it? Well, you need help, Henry. Everyone does. You won't find it alone. Help? It's true, I haven't been feeling myself ever since those dreams started. I just thought my eyes were finally being opened. Now I don't know. A moment ago it all seemed so clear. Give it some time. The ocean will always be there. You're right, Shan. She'll be there, waiting for me. He sighs heavily like a gust of sad wind. I'll stay this course just a little longer. I seem to be heading off these people for making life-altering decisions. Let's see what Ermine has to say. Hello, ma'am. Your family is, falling apart. The troll woman looks more weary than you've ever seen her. The club is virtually shut down, and she doesn't seem to care. She's lost that presence which had once so defined her, and has left her visibly smaller. The world's gone mad, hasn't it? The world's always been mad. What's happened? She looks at the nearby photo of her son Calum, hanging from the metal shelf. Calum thinks Henry isn't his father. He thinks I had an affair. He even threatened to tell Henry if I don't let him leave. The truth is, he's right. I did have an affair. I had several affairs. I was young and beautiful and very aggressive. I was going places, and Henry was gone at sea most of the time. Henry isn't Callum's father, but I can't tell Calum the truth about his father. It might destroy him. Let me guess. Callum's father is his mysterious new benefactor? Yes, he is. That man now whispers promises to my son. A free ride through university, a guaranteed starting position at Baihu, a bright future. Calum doesn't know what the world is like. Once, I was ready to leave Henry for that man. He lavished gifts on me. He told me I was special. Maybe he really did love me. I was a troll girl from Hoi, transcending her meager beginnings. I was becoming someone of worth, and I even had a powerful human lover. Ermine fixes a level gaze at you. Baihu has always frowned on metahumans. I was an exception. I thought that just because they accepted me, it wouldn't affect me anymore. In fact, I myself looked down on most metahumans as oversensitive and lazy. Then he invited me to a high-level corporate retreat for the weekend. What happened? My eyes were opened. Do you want to know what they do at these retreats? They hunt. But what is there to hunt here in Hong Kong? Nothing. Nothing but that which is different. Those they secretly disdain. Those they see as animals. They hunt poor metahumans. Somehow they thought I'd be okay with it. They thought that I was one of them. They don't kill their prey. It's more satisfying to let them live, knowing their victims are powerless to find justice. They take trophies. The tip of an elf's ears, an orc's tusks, a troll's horns. She reaches up to stroke her own horns, as if reassuring herself they are still intact. I realize I had already given them a trophy. My basic humanity. My principles. Ermine's voice is cool and professional. Her expression is earnest. For me, it wasn't about humans versus elves or orcs or dwarves or my kind. I want you to understand that, Shan. It was about common humanity. It was about how we treat all people. What did you do? I acted like it was fine and held it together for the weekend. I hid my feelings, like any good negotiator in a bad position. Then, once the weekend was over, I cleaned out my office. I came back to Hoi and sent Baihu my resignation. Later, I found out I was pregnant with Calum. When the DNA test confirmed that Henry wasn't the father, I meant to terminate the pregnancy, but I couldn't bear to do it. And so, Calum, my son, one of the joys of my life. Maybe this man fancies himself as Calum's father. Even if he does, that still doesn't guarantee Calum's safety among those people. Baihu is still Baihu, and maybe that man just wants to get back at me for leaving him. After all, he had the audacity to say that I broke his heart. That is why I can't allow Calum to go. I would rather my son hate me forever than give himself to that world. Ermine draws herself up to her full height, and she restores herself to her usual regal bearing. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have troubled you with my problems. You probably came here on business, and your time is valuable. Can I show you anything? No? You take care. So probably a good thing that I held them off from making rash decisions. Man, this is like... It's like a powder keg. You see the fuse heading toward it, and you're just like, and then suddenly it's going to go off when you least expect it. Anyone over here to talk to? Nope. Alright, let's see what 10-armed Ambrose has to say. And he's over here, and I couldn't help him out the last time we were here. Ambrose looks exhausted. He's staring blankly, a glass of amber whiskey next to him. Engine parts litter the floor of the operating theater. Hey, Shan. Big typhoon on the way in. Better batten down the hatches. Robot arm swings over for him to take a weary drag from a cigarette. It's going to be a kicker. What's the deal with the typhoon? It's your first typhoon, isn't it? Typhoons go out in the Pacific, then come crashing into the coast. The biggest ones hit Category 7. Real monsters. Unreal. Ambrose swirls his whiskey disconsolately. This one's just as a big wet huffer. Streets are going to flood. Aircraft will be grounded. This one's awakened, so get ready for a lot of communications interference. And get your galoshes. It's going to be wet. He gives you a sidelong glance, a sly look in his eyes. Good time for running in storms. All that wind and rain obscures surveillance. The curfew clears the streets. Cops and security contractors are all tied up. We're at sea level here. What will the storm surge do to Roy? No, nothing. The Jirang Wall will seal all of Victoria Harbor behind a big concrete breakwater. It shuts down the harbor and keeps sea level constant. Have you seen the harbor wall activated before? It's a miracle of engineering. It'll stop a 2-meter surge with 7-meter wind waves. I'm surprised you're not throwing a typhoon party. Nobody's in the mood for it. I'm not either. These dreams are driving everyone crazy. He drinks a big slug of his whiskey. A mechanical arm from the wheelchair absently fills the glass back up. Fortunately, I have special training for dealing with dreams. Who are you, Ambrose? Really? Ambrose stops what he's doing. He regards you silently. His living eye glitters with intelligence. I'm Ambrose Rokonatsky. I'm the doctor around here. Anyone else I might have been is dead and gone. Oh, that's right. Someone was talking about Ripshot on the BBS. You know anything about an... I can't pronounce that. We'll just say ARC on the BBS? What, like the bird? A little bird from my watch divert attention from a very good rigger doc and deftly fish for information on one of Icebreaker's old associates. What? What are you implying? That... Wait, that it's me? Ambrose breaks into a smile that is sunny, though possibly a bit forced. Hey, I'm flattered. I really am, but I stay away from the BBS. That world's behind me. Although I suppose if I ever found someone with whom I had unfinished business... Ambrose's voice dropped several octaves for just a moment. I'd be a real angry cuss. There's no such person as Ambrose, is there? Maybe I wasn't born with that name. Maybe Icebreaker's just a notorious and secretive Kong runner who vanished with his team. Maybe I never worked for him. Maybe I did. I'll tell you what's real. This clinic is real. What I do here is real. This place is as real as it comes. Karen was real. She was my friend. And the heart in my story, that's real too. As far as the rest, well, some stories are too dangerous to tell. Why did you leave Chicago? Really? Maybe it wasn't Chicago I left. There's been a lot of mixing in the UCAS Midwest. It's a big territory that my accent could be from. Maybe I crossed someone. The Mafia, Ares, the Russians, Stuffer Shack. Ambrose winks, but with his cyber eye. His living eye keeps watching you, relentless. Maybe saying that my old hood is inside the Chicago containment zone is just a way to cover my tracks. Go Bears. And what really happened to your team? This guy reminds me of Garrick from DS9. Things went bad, and we got ambushed. Ambrose squints appraisingly at you. His expression is unreadable, a perfect poker face. Must not have been doing a good job of Overwatch. That ambush killed everyone else. Eventually, it even killed Karen. With his 3 fingers, Ambrose points to the place tubes emerged from his side. My liver and kidneys are machines in my wheelchair. I've lost about half of my body. I'm in chronic pain, and every night it's the same thing. Nightmares. They never end. If I had any part in the end of the crew, well, I paid with almost everything. Still less than nut. Ambrose is suddenly overcome with emotion. He seems to catch him by surprise. His poker face cracks in a grimace, and tears well up in his eyes. After an instant, he masters himself, and his stony face returns. What matters now is making something productive with my life. I mean it when I say I'm just about the luckiest guy in the world. Ooh. Well, let's say... Look, just stow the doublespeak. What happened to your team? I don't know. I never saw any of them, ever again. It's all ancient history now. Alright, Ambrose. You keep your mysteries. Ambrose gives a very slight nod. I will. Welcome to the shadows, Shan. He smiles knowingly at you, but not in an unkindly way. Enjoy your stay. Now, is there anything else I can... No, that's pretty much it. I really wish I'd been able to kind of track down what was going on here. Oh well. Well, since we have some upgrades and a little bit of money, let's go ahead and end with Spyder Shen, and then we'll check out everyone else in the next episode. Because you know how this goes. We have this down to a science. It's not an accurate science, but it's science. Shen is reclining against the stacks of cages as you approach, watching the display of a small trid player on the table. The trid displays the shimmering form of a dancing woman weaving her way through a crowded club. It seems to have been filled via a portable recorder, or possibly someone's cyber eyes. Draped in wild clothing that scintillates with lights and holograms, the dancer slips through the crowd like living mercury. Every step and evasion is effortless. You watch the dancer weave her way up a flight of stairs, moving toward a second-floor balcony. As she ascends the stairs, her hands start to crackle with energy, and points of light trace across her neck, shoulders, and spine. In the glitter and flash of the club lighting, no one else seems to notice. For a split second, she looks back at the camera's point of view, smiling seductively. Shen gestures toward the holographic display, smiling broadly. Keep watching. It's about to get good in a few seconds. The dancer arrives at the top floor, moving towards a particular table. The table's occupants, triad members judging by their tattoos, rise from where they're sitting and begin to draw weapons. Their expressions indicate they're familiar with the dancer and intend to kill her. At this point, the dancer explodes into motion. She bobs and weaves out of the way of their gunfire, her fingertips flinging electricity and fire in long arcs. She seems to dance at and around the triad soldiers. Each step and beat causes an explosion of force that scatters tables and drinks. Wreathed in the elements, the woman cuts through the triad members in an effortless pave of destruction. The recording ends, and Shen straightens up. I could watch Lucky Ping at work all day. I don't know how she works her magic, but it's a beautiful and terrifying thing to behold. Really glad she's with the Yellow Lotus and not an enemy syndicate. That was a hell of a dance. That it is. She's been a dancer since she was a kid, but I guess her magic just spontaneously manifested when she was a teenager. She figured out how to channel it in some kind of whatever it is you saw. I have no idea how she does it. Shen shrugs helplessly. Anyway, what can I help you with? Well, let's see what she has first off. Weapons? Any new punchy implements? Blood calls to blood. Ooh. Causes bleeding to target. Requires close combat 8. Well, then. I may have to grab close combat 8 so I can get a new punching implement. Ceremonial combat garb. Tailored monk's martial arts clothing beneath a modified Ares military combat vest. The best protection available for melee or hand-to-hand combat. So we're getting to our final stuff here. Pain resistance. Unarmed damage increases by 3 passively. The adept's movement is increased by 2. Unarmed damage increased by a further 4, and movement increased by a further 2 for 3 rounds. So that uses Killing Hands and Stride together. The adept gains a more accurate 0 AP cost attack that does 14 damage to the target, pierces up to 2 armor, shares a cooldown with Quick Strike. Wow, look at all the things I can't afford, or I can't use right now. This is where I need you guys' help in the comments. So tell me more about your crew there, Spyder. With folded arms, Shen regards you with some suspicion. We're fairly private people. Generally, when I get asked a question like that, I figure it's because someone's looking for something to use against me. Shen's expression softens after a moment, however. Well, you've been a decent person so far, I guess I can tell you some. White Ming and I started our cell. Grandfather Woe took him to Wudang a year or 2 before he did the same for me. He made it clear that he expected repayment in kind, and when we were old enough, and since the Yellow Lotus was his organization, we joined up. At first it was mostly small-time stuff, shell games on street corners, stuff like that. We picked up a new member after about 6 months, and things started to change. Freedom Se, dwarf kid, absolutely murder with twin pistols. The kind of focus I can bring to bear in Kung Fu, that's how he shoots. Shen grins crookedly. His parents named him Freedom and sent him to the UCAS to live with an uncle. Guess they wanted him to be really American or something. Beyond that, there's Yang, the lawyer you saw me talking to before. The 4 of us do a pretty cozy business between jobs for Steel Arm Lu and Kindly Chang. It's not like we're in charge of much, but it beats starving, yeah? Do you like working for the Yellow Lotus? Like has nothing to do with it. I have debts to Grandfather Woe, and I intend to pay them. I guess they're a good enough syndicate. We waste a lot of blood and money fighting the Red Dragon, though. Can't say I like that end of the business, since it seems like such a huge waste. If it weren't for Grandfather, I might see about getting White Ming, Steel Arm Lu, and Lucky Ping to break away. Maybe start our own thing in turf that's not quite so fought over. Lifting one hand, palm up, Shen smiles faintly. But I can't leave him. I owe him everything. Why would you split off at all? I've heard a lot of talk between the Yellow Lotus vanguards and the Incense Masters. They're dead set on eliminating the Red Dragons, despite the risk. When that kind of talk gets tossed around, nobody's safe. It leads to all-out warfare. Last time that happened, the White Jade Brotherhood got wiped out completely. It's just bad strategy to try and wipe them out. It's all this old rivalry between the elders. It has nothing to do with the business end of things. Old vendettas get you killed, even if they're not yours. That's the truth. Alright guys, well it looks like we have a lot of money we need to raise. Fortunately we have a lot of jobs available. But we'll continue talking to the people of Hawaii and maybe see about getting on board the Bolt Hole in the next episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you liked the episode, go ahead and click like down below, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, that'd be a big help, and we'll see you next time. Later days, everyone.